So one of the issues I've been having with the graphics converter, now I've started to use it on an actual project, being the Pac-Sam, the Pac-Man emulator or clone, the Sam Kipei, is because I'm working with true color images, the palettes are becoming a bit of an issue. I could start using palletized indices. I really should. Probably very soon I'll flip on to using that, as certainly it's one solution to spectrum graphics that we'll come on to. But for now, because I still want to support true color images, the problem I've got is every time I load a new image, so when I load the tiles or the tile map, it resets the palette and grabs an entire new palette, and sometimes it's useful to be able to load another image saying, no, I want to still use the same working palette. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add some options to this, similar to where we did with the grab. So here we've got the mask data. One thing I'm going to add here is I'm going to add an options for maintain palette, or let's call it keep palette, which will keep the existing palette. I won't want on this one, but just so you get the idea. So it'll be on this one, I'll actually use it. So what keep palette will do is, so that we pass in the file name options. Keep palette, don't reset the current working palette. This will allow you to add more palettes onto it. And also we want sort of short names for them. As well as keeping the palette, we also want to be able to add to the palette or not. So if we have keep palette, and we can have it's terrible. I can't think of a good name for it. Actually, I think what we'll do is we'll call this one no reset, so we don't reset the palette, and we'll call this one no addition. So do not add any additional colours to the palette. Assumes no reset as well. There's no point in resetting the palette and then not adding any colours. So if you do no addition, it will keep the palette that's there, but not add any new colours. If you do no reset, it will keep the colours that are there, but if it needs to, it will add some new colours to it. So let's look at these. We'll make this an optional, so you don't need it. This should be relatively straightforward. We've already got the chunk of the code in our grab sprite handler. We've got some code here to do some options, so we'll take that and we'll go into our load handler, and here we've got, we'll call this one none because there's no options. This is no reset, and this is no addition. And this is, well, we don't actually have anything for that one. This is no reset. This is no addition. Again, we can copy this function here to get the option from the string. Go through option types, and this will, it's not unknown, we just know there's no option because that's to pass in nothing is perfectly valid. So it's not equal to 1, and get number of arguments is not equal to 2. So get number of arguments equal to 2 if actually we will have to, I've forgotten one important thing here. But the problem is we will have to have a blank option. Oh no, that's fine, because that will... I just think we'll have to have a none so we know the difference between none and unknown. We do need to have an unknown. Unknowns if you pass in one we know nothing about. None is if we only pass one argument, so that's fine. We need here. Okay, so we've told there are 2 arguments, we don't know any, so that's false. So that's fine. When we come here, we're just passing in a load option. Because we do the load in our, we may have to move this at some point, but at the moment we do our load image here. And that extracts from bitmap. What we'll have to do is again, I don't like this. This feels wrong, but we'll do it this way for now. Reset palette equals false, equals true. So default is to reset palette. We'll add and default is to add. So now we can go if sc.get number arguments. So if we I'm beginning to really, at the moment we've got our image in the export data, which is probably wrong. Really, the working pattern, we probably want to have an image class and put these options within there. But for now, we'll do this. So switch on the option. None. Very unlikely. Shouldn't be in here if there's none, but that's fine, we'll leave it. No reset. We're simply going to set that. Otherwise, if no addition, we reset both of them. And the default, should it get here, which it shouldn't, will be to return false. Okay, and then what we'll do here, add to palette, and we come into our load, will reset pal, will be add pal, and then, yeah, for now we'll just pass them in. Then we go to really be better to have these as some options, but to pal true. We want to add to the palette equals true. And then here we can say if b reset pal oh dear, there we go. And then here what we're doing is, do we have a palette? We're adding to the palettes in these places, so we don't want to do that if we don't do that if we're adding to the palette. So that should be all we need. Might go into here and go to set some defaults. So that's added those. The other thing I thought might be helpful is we've got the option to grab a palette. We've got an option to set palettes. What we might have is the option to clear the palette. So this will clear the working palette. This might be useful if you want to start generating your own palette again, and you just need to you only want 2 colours in the palette, for instance. You can clear it and then just set the 2 you need. So we can quickly add that as well. Add the command in here. And it's going to be very similar to the yeah, so this is the problem with writing tools on the fly, and I say these videos are very much done as I'm doing it. There's not a huge amount of, there's very little, if any, pre-thought into how I'm doing these things. I'm doing it as it comes to me while I'm writing it. So now I'm starting to use it. I'm going to be coming back in and making tweaks to fix it up for what I'm using at the time, and hopefully it will then build a much more useful tool over the time. So clearing palette, and then should be all we need. Except I've always forget that you need to actually go into the right file before you start making the changes. Let's just stick a breakpoint on there. So it's grabbing the palette, clearing palette. There we go. So let's run. Oh, it's because I was using this to test, I think. Yeah, I was using it to test the Pac-Sam converter. I just need to set the default debug folder working directory. There we go. So now hopefully SAM palette now has 0 entries. Good. and then we can also check if we go to export data. So reset palette is true. Run again. Reset palette is true. Run again. Now we're loading the tile map. Did we? I don't think I put the command. So down here. Let's check the load handler. Okay, so we're getting our options. The argument for this is 1. Have I named something wrong? Oh yeah, because we... Actually, I'll put no addition. Try that again. Okay, so this time we're coming in here. We're not resetting, we're not adding. So we're not resetting. That's interesting. Oh. I did those in the wrong place. Should be up here. So we add there, come in, reload our image. Don't reset it, we're not going to add any. So we've got a new working image, but we're keeping the same working palette. Good. So, it's a nice short little video, just adds a couple of extra features. Mainly things I'm going to need for the next part of Pac-Sam. But again, things that may help you if you want to use this tool on your own things. Any suggestions for features you need, by all means, let me know. As I say, I do intend to do some tidying up on this soon. And probably sort out some stuff ready for doing some cross-platform. I might look at doing a simple Spectrum game as well using this, so we can see how that works as well. See you in the next video.